Hey folks, welcome back to the Portable Gamer. Welcome back to American Truck Simulator, and welcome to Bakersfield, California. Man, uh, I feel like this truck is exactly the way I want it to be. It's a really nice feeling. And it was just a couple of small things, but I'm just so pleased with it right now. Right. Still have this 850 motor in it, the Cummins N14.20 at 840 horsepower. And yeah, that just makes me so happy. I love that sound. We're in Bakersfield. Let's find a job. Let's go somewhere. It's going on 3:30 in the morning, so we are going to drive in the dark for a little while. But man, I just gave up on trying to always have it be like perfectly daylight. I feel like I'm just not able to do it. So here's where I'd like to go. I'd like to either go down towards San Diego, or I'd like to go to Las Vegas. And ultimately, I'd like to get up into northern Arizona, where we haven't been for a while, or southern Arizona, where we haven't been for a while. So if we go to Vegas, we'll go north. Obviously, if we go to San Diego, we'll go south. So let's see what's available. Not a whole lot. Not a whole lot. Oh, there's Las Vegas right there. I didn't even see it. Okay, so there is a Las Vegas, and then there is a Yuma. This is interesting. And we haven't taken a tanker in a while. You want to take a tanker? Pays better. Let me scroll back through here to see if I missed anything else. No. Reno, Nogales. Yeah, that's all the way down. Reno, Camp Verde. That's all the way over. Yeah. Okay. Let's take this trailer. And also, I think this will be the first tank trailer we've taken in a while. And let's see if we've got the 78 miles. 78 miles. Let me check the time on that. Make sure it's going to be available for us when we get there. 6 hours. Can we drive 78 miles in 6 hours? I certainly hope so. And that'll be nice because we'll deadhead a little bit. I guess we're not really deadheading. We're going to pick up a job. We'll deadhead a little bit in the dark. And then we can drive proper in the daylight. You know what I mean. Right. Oh, that sound. We'll get some fuel on the way out of town, too. In real life, not just in video games, but in real life, 3:30 in the morning has got to be just about my favorite time of day. I love it. You're out and about at 3:30 in the morning, and it's like you've got the whole world to yourself. So we are recording in 60 FPS now. And I have the game capped vertical sync at 68 FPS as well. So what I'm looking to do as we're closing in on our 100th episode, what I'm looking to do is sort of get my standards down, right? Like my spec. As far as getting every video, no matter what sim it is, new sim, old sim, no matter what it is that we're doing, that everything looks, well, the same, essentially. That we have the same, as much as possible. You know, every sim is different, but as much as possible that we have similar color, similar look and feel, the same quality. And little by little, like one problem at a time, I'm getting the stuttering sorted out, I'm getting the tearing sorted out, low FPS, lag, all of it, like one problem at a time. And it's really weird to think that, 100 episodes, that's what we've been doing. Like, obviously we've been we've been playing some transportation sims, and we've been having a great time. But we've also been refining the way the videos are going to look when they're like in their final whatever version, sir. Right? You know what I mean. We're working on our sound, getting the band back together. So yeah, that's what is going on. And man, I have to get fuel. I keep forgetting, and I don't know how or why. I keep forgetting to get fuel, but I do. So next stop that we see, next place we see where we can get some fuel, we gotta get something to fill up. Tanks on this truck are not as big as I thought they'd be. Could also be that we're running this great big motor now, so our fuel economy is not what it was. I did look. This engine pack that I got for this Cummins that we're running right now, I know as I went through all my trucks and I kind of sorted them out. And in the 579 from this same pack, there's a 462 horsepower Cummins that I went ahead and put in. And I saw there was also a 1400. This would be in the 579. There's also a 1400. And we've got the 842 horsepower motor in this 389. And for some reason, I just felt like, because this thing is like our little hot rod, if one of these trucks is going to have a monster motor, it would be the 389. So I hadn't, it's like I didn't, not like study them, you know what I mean. I looked, but I didn't look super close. So I went in when I started, or just before I started recording, I went in with the intention of putting the 842 horsepower motor in the 579, in one of our sleeper 579s, because we've got a day cab as well. And then I would come back here to the 389 and put the 1400 horsepower motor in it. And it turns out that combo doesn't exist. No face tracking, by the way. I don't know if I said that. No face tracking tonight in ATS. That combo doesn't exist. So for the 389, 842 horsepower is about all we can get. And then for the 579, it's either 462 or 1420. And I don't know how I feel about 1400 horsepower in a 579. I love the idea of horsepower. I'm American. Of course I love horsepower. But of the two, like I was saying last episode, this is our troublemaker truck. This is our juvenile delinquent. This is the one that should have 1400 horsepower. The 579 is like, that's the grown-up truck. That's all, you know. That one, it doesn't seem like that truck should have more horsepower than this one. But that would be like kind of the way it has to be. So I don't know where I'm at with that. I like the idea of the 1400 horsepower, but only in this truck. It's the weirdest thing. So we'll think on it. And now in that pack, I know Cummins is in there. I thought Caterpillar was in there as well. And I've never really run Cat motor. It's just one of those weird things, like, I got my favorites, you know, I'm a Cummins guy. So So I'll take a look around in there and see if I can find some Caterpillar motors. Because I really didn't see any. In fact, we could go look right now. Nah, you know what? Let's focus on the job. Right. 17 tons of mercuric chloride going to Yuma, Arizona. You got it. And I believe, almost positive, this is a SCS trailer. So it should have the airlines, no problem. I'm such a nerd. It's like such a big deal that those are on the trailers that we take. Just nerd. Oh, total nerd. Yeah, I admit it. Where you at? Ladies. So without face tracking, should be able to do this in cab fairly easily. I say fairly. I say fairly. It's been a day. One time. Says no. Two times. I'm just all concentration right now. Says no. Says yes. Right. Mod trailer. No hoses. No big deal. 311 miles to Yuma. The sun's just coming up, so we'll be driving in daylight. Fantastic. Just need to remember to get fuel. I've got 250 miles in the tank. So we ought to be okay. Although, we're taking a right out of here instead of a left, so I believe we're going kind of straight across the desert on some 2-lane roads, which is great. I do like driving on those roads, but there's a lot less fuel stops. I think we'll be okay. We got 246 miles in the tank. And what I might do is, I don't know how I feel about doing stuff off camera. As far as like looking at the 579 and figuring out what motor to put in it. Now the other thing is I haven't skinned the 579 yet. Maybe I'll do that. Yeah, maybe I'll do that. Off camera I will figure out the engine situation with the 579 and I'll build a skin for it. So when we come back next episode in Arizona, we'll be in the 579. And I'll skin it so same skin for both the day cab and the sleeper. And I mean, I don't know how I feel about 1,400 horsepower in a little day cab delivery truck. That's, on the one hand, that's kind of ridiculous, and on the other hand, that's kind of cool. Right? Like, it's totally mental. and that's what makes it awesome. I don't know. We'll think about it. Yes, I do have trailer stability turned way down, and you really need to like be easy with the trailer, son. Easy. So yeah, I'll do that. I'll skin those trucks, and I'll have that all ready for us next episode, and we'll figure out what motor we want to put in it. Loving the tumbleweeds. Oh. Right. Who needs to pee? And I think I'm lined up okay. If I pull forward, I don't think I'm gonna snag the pump island with that trailer. I think we'll be okay. Hope so. Too late now. Right. I'm going to wait because I need to go almost all the way across the highway so I don't hit that guardrail. I know I hit the curb. I don't know if I hit the guardrail too. We'll see how much of our mercuric chloride is left when we get to the delivery. Maybe we're leaking it all over the highway right now. Right. Full bag of gas. Let's just take this little 2-lane across the desert. Love it. I'm also looking forward to, at some point, and I don't know why I didn't think of this when we were up that way, but they're adding some roads to Yosemite. And we haven't driven on them yet. So I wouldn't mind driving down around that way. Can't do it now, we're at the wrong end of the state. But we'll make a loop. Still has to be one of the best sounding trucks in this game. I don't know if I wreck it. Yeah, I think so. The Scania sounds, I think because Scania is so popular on the ETS2 side, there are just a lot of sounds for it. The DAF open pipe that I'm running right now, that V10.0, I think is great. There was a really good sound, I thought, for the, it's a Mack engine in the Renault Magnum. I thought that sounded really good. What else? Mercedes, it's never really, I feel like nobody ever really got that right. What else is over on that side? MAN, I've heard some good MANs. I guess there's a new MAN in real life. There's a new MAN with a V10 in it. So somebody's making a V10 sound mod, but I don't know if that truck is represented in the game yet. I think it's just like an MAN, like a TGX or something, and they're kind of, you know, like V10s. But it's either way, it's a good sound. And other than that, I mean, Iveco, I never really heard anything fabulous. There's some good sounds for the Volvo, but nothing like the Scania. So, at least on the ATS side, I think this is definitely the best sound pack I've ever heard, and it makes this the best sounding truck I've ever driven. So super stoked about that. And we'll have to hear what that, I mean, I don't know. I mean, 462 horsepower that's decent. Nobody's complaining about that. But if it's a choice between 462 and 1420, it's really hard not to at least want to try that 1420. Maybe we put the 462 in the day cab and the 1400 in the big sleeper, the big long haul sleeper. Does that make sense? I mean, it makes sense. I like the ridiculous factor of having 1400 horsepower, like I said, in a little delivery truck. But you know, we can't just be silly for silly's sake. We are trying to run a fake business here. We'll think about it. We got time. Let's get this delivered. Oh, I just looked at our money too. We're going to be at $1 million soon. And we still don't know what to buy with it. There's really nothing to buy. We can buy trucks or we can buy garages. If we buy garages, we can teleport, but we don't teleport. It's not our jam. So what would we do with garages? What would we do with more trucks? We just hire drivers and then they'd make more money and then we'd be looking how to spend that. I don't know, man. This game is weird because it seems like it lends itself to, after a certain point it just becomes sandbox. But then from another angle it's like, no man, it's sandbox from the day you install it. It's kind of a sandbox game all the time. I don't know if I'm saying that right. It's like there's really nothing to it. You just drive a truck. So there are some goals and some things to work up to, but it's almost like an open world sandbox game. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I like ETS2 a lot. I'm definitely coming around to ATS. We've talked about this. But realistically, you're just driving a truck. So, I don't know. I mean, I'm looking for things to spend this money on, but I don't think there is anything. I think we're just going to have a lot of money. There's no Grail truck. There's no, like, $1 million truck. And we've got a 389 flat top sleeper, but really, I mean, that's all I could ever want in a truck right there. Look at that. I'm just going to drive all over. You get what I'm saying. That's all I could ever want. It's like a little muscle car. It's a muscle truck is what it is. And it's got the train horn. Yeah. I don't know what else we could want. And the only reason we have any other trucks is so our drivers have something. But if it weren't for our drivers, this would be just this and, well, no, I take that back. I like the 389 flat top sleeper. And it does have a longer wheelbase. We'll take a look at it before we sign off today. And I do like the 579. It's a little too civilized in some ways, but I kind of like it. It's a nice counterpoint, I guess, like an alternative, right? What's his name again? You know what I'm saying. But that's it, and I'm on the Peterbilt side. I've kind of how do you want to say it? Like, I've thought about, what could they do to fix this game, or what could they do to make this game better? They could have more truck brands, but there's a couple problems with that. One is, the licensing. Just because you want more truck brands doesn't mean you get more truck brands. And the other thing is, like, what would they be? I guess you could do, like, Freightliner and Volvo and, like, Sterling, Mack. I mean, there's really not that many trucks. And the thing about the European trucks is, to my eye anyway, they all look kind of different. And on the American truck side, not American Truck Simulator, but I mean, having grown up and lived in America and spent most of my life here, when you're on the highway, there are very few trucks that sort of jump out at you. From a distance, you can generally spot the brand. There's not that many brands to spot, and other than your own personal preference, they're really not that visually distinctive. It's just you knowing about trucks that lets you pick them out. And I guess it's the same as, if you look at contemporary cars, if you see them in silhouette, like just a black silhouette, it's really hard to tell the difference between a Honda and a Toyota, and they all kind of look the same now. But you look at cars from the 1950s, right, and they're all radically different, and they all have very unique styles. And I guess the same is true of high-end cars today. Hypercars and supercars and exotics and boutiques and that sort of thing. They all have a very distinctive look, but for the most part, cars are kind of evolving all toward the same sort of shape. And it's aerodynamics, it's fuel efficiency. And that's even more the case with trucks, because they're commercial vehicles. Because they're commercial vehicles. And, they're trying to make the most of fuel, right? Be very efficient. They are getting more and more aerodynamic, and they're all kind of starting to look the same. So it's tricky. I get it. It's not as easy as we'd like to have trucks, so just throw a bunch of brands in there. But I do wish there was more variety. And I think we've gotten kind of spoiled with things like Project Cars and Assetto Corsa is a good example. What I'm doing on the channel. And then you've got Race Room and iRacing, and then Forza and Gran Turismo. I think it's hilarious that Forza and Gran Turismo kind of started the whole racing sim genre, or really took it to the next level, and they've been left behind. Forza for the longest time was like, that was it. Forza was like amazing, and now Forza's still a strong candidate. but it's almost like Forza is the kids game now. Forza is the arcade game, and if you want a real race simulator, you go with something else. So that's a side rant. That's another topic. I guess what I'm saying is we're so used to having the choice of hundreds and hundreds of cars, or in Farm Sim, you have dozens and dozens of tractors. I think we've gotten kind of spoiled, and we come into, or at least I come into ATS, and it's like, okay, 2 brands, and then we can either go with a new truck or a classic truck. Oh, all right. So it is, and I realize there's different wheelbases and different cab configurations, but there's really 4 trucks in this game. Everybody knows it. So it's a little, I think that's part of what's holding the game back. And like I said, there's not really a solution to it. It's not like you just stuff it full of trucks. You gotta license this stuff, and there needs to be something to license. So I don't know that they would really be able to do either one of those things, I guess. Yeah, you know what I'm trying to say. I want more trucks, but what's funny about that is even if there were more trucks, I would still only drive Peterbilt. Because I'm kind of a nerd like that. Right. Well, we're going to be there in just a minute. We'll get this dropped off. And yeah, call it an episode. And then I'll figure out, I'll get the 579 skinned off camera. Well, obviously it's skinned off camera, but then I'll get the skin put on off camera, and I'll do all the fooling around with the engine. And I mean, I guess we have no choice but to go with that monster 1400 horsepower. I want to hear it, I want to drive it, and if it's a choice between, like I said, 462 or 1420, it almost has to be 1420. I wish there was something in the middle, and there is on the 389 side. There's 840, which is perfect. That's that's almost exactly right in the middle. So I don't know. We'll figure it out. It's just a video game. Nobody cares. Figure it out either way. And we just leveled up last episode, didn't we? We did. I saw today that the Jazzy Cats packs are starting to update with the airlines. So it looks like fairly shortly all the traffic that you see on the roads will have airlines. I mean, they go by so quick. How are you actually going to see it? I guess if you're stopped at a red light or something and a truck pulls up next to you, you can look over and see it. It's weird. It's one of those things that I used to live in Moab, Utah. I don't know if you know Moab, Utah. I used to live in Moab, Utah. And there's a big Jeep Jamboree there every year. One of the biggest. And Chrysler has focus groups for Jeep owners. And every year they say, for the Wrangler, we want to make a rigid windshield. Because the windshield in the Wrangler folds down. And they say, we're going to make it rigid. We're going to make it so it doesn't fold down anymore. And there are people in these focus groups that have, like, the reason they're in the focus group and the reason they're at the Jamboree is because they're massive Jeep fans. Like, they buy, like, a Cherokee and a Wrangler every year, every year or two, they're down at the Jeep dealer buying a brand new Jeep because they just love it. And when it's time for their kids to get a car, they go down there and they, 16th birthday, they buy their kids a Jeep, and they're Jeep people. Those are the kinds of folks that go to focus group. So they're Jeep lovers and Jeep owners. And Chrysler says, we're thinking about doing away with the fold-down windshield. And people in the focus group are like, no, you have to keep the folding windshield on the Wrangler. You can't ever get rid of that. You have to keep it. And Chrysler's like, oh, okay. So you fold down your windshield? And they're like, no, never. Never have. But keep it. So there's sort of a, it's like beacons. I don't like this truck. This truck has beacons. They're not on. I know people, you see them in multiplayer all the time. They run their beacons. If they're in the truck, their beacons are on. Same thing in Farm Sim. Don't really need them, just like them. And I guess that's how I'm feeling about air hoses. Like, now that they're here, I must have them. And it's dumb. I can't even see them. Like this trailer we're hauling right now, we didn't get them. And I was, I have to say, I was a little disappointed. Even though it doesn't matter and I can't see them. Like, if you told me right now they're back there, it would make me feel better. Even though I know they're not. You get what I'm saying. You always get what I'm saying. I'm good like that. Right. So here's our exit. Now I gotta figure out what to do with this thing when we get where we're going. If we're taking it back to the chemical plant, there are some deliveries and places to park. Wow, is it El Camino? Yeah, that's the Jazzy Cat muscle car pack, I think. Yeah. I'm not gonna roll out into traffic this time. Yeah, right. Okay. Good there. Tight over here. Right. So I'll see. I don't know where we're taking this thing. If it's the chemical plant, parking is kind of a pain in the ass. I just saw it. I was reaching for the brakes. Check the replay. I was downshifting. I just saw it. Doesn't matter. He done me. You know what? I'm a truck driver with $873,000 in the bank. I will pay your ticket. But, I mean, to be fair, I shouldn't. That's on you. Right. Lovely scenery. Lovely scenery. Got a green arrow. Ow. Crap. Alright. Didn't we just drop off here? Didn't we just deliver here like a week ago? This looks so familiar. Yeah. Yeah, it looks real familiar. Real familiar. Right. So what I'm saying is, depending on how the delivery looks, I may be super cool, do it in cab. I may not. Because I'm not joking. have totally lost my mojo. Past few weeks. I don't know what is going on. Right. Moment. All right. I know. I know. That Lopi cam is just glorious. It really is. Right. Ugly, but effective. Like an old Volvo. Boom. There you go. Folks, thanks for stopping back to check out the Portable Gamer. Thanks for joining us for another episode of American Truck Simulator. I'll get everything sorted out with the skins and the 579. We'll be ready to go next time. Take care now.